Good afternoon. I hope you are all well. I finally got to be able to live stream on my mobile, so here I am, hoping that it's going to be fine. Let's see. Let's test. Do a little test. Come on. So yes, I have been yeah, it's fine. It's great. So I had been getting ready for transmitting live, and I had to get a little bit of gear, you know, a stand for my mobile, all that, blah blah blah. So yes, finally I have the basic thing to do it. So yes, I hope it's going fine. I'm recording this unlisted, in unlisted mode. Then if it's fine, if it runs fine, I will upload it publicly. So yes, I want to go back to the NICOLA Bulley case, because today is the 26th of April 2023, and it's going to be 2 months to the day until the official NICOLA Bulley inquest. So I thought, okay, this is a proper day. Also, what with the keywords and numerology, you know, 26 is a big number. For me, I think personally, from my point of view, as esoteric point of view, it's a significant number, because it was one of the assigned numbers to the NICOLA Bulley case, being that 26 is the, you know, the number of the inquest. Okay, then we have 27 because it was the day she vanished, and we have the 23 because she appeared on the 23rd day. And we also have, you know, that number 23, it's very significant. So I'm going to talk today about one of the biggest keywords or key themes that I have found in this NICOLA Bulley case, okay, being the word yellow. Even though yellow is not a word that is pronounced during the whole official narrative, not that I'm aware of, the name yellow, the color yellow, it's a constant theme of this case, okay? As you see in the screen, this is the official logo, okay? This is the official logo of the NICOLA Bulley case, and as you can see, it's all about the color yellow. Also, you have you know, the two hearts, the yellow hearts, which are also, like, for me, are the brand created for this case, which, you know, always I've always been, you know, this kind of things, like, really, like, you know, catch my attention, okay? Everything that it has to do with brands, like a logo being made, I mean, so strange, you know? I've never seen, in any case, like mysterious, like media case that has gone so big like this one. I've never seen it to be so branded like this one, like the NICOLA Bulley case, like what with the yellow heart, you know, and the yellow neon sign, the yellow heart neon thing that all the members of the group. I wanted to say another word like cult, but yeah, let's say like all the members, the top members of the NICOLA Bulley case group or intimate group have all still to this day they have adopted the yellow heart, the yellow neon heart as their profile photo, which I understand, like it's, you know, to pay homage to Nikki. I get that, but at the same time, it, you know, it's really strange to me. I've never seen anything like that, anything in my whole life. Because, you know, I think this logo was created, I suppose, by Emma White, because she's the one who has been dealing with all the PR in this case, which is again another strange thing, you know. Why would she do that? Okay. Yep. So I assume he or her NICOLA Bulley case committee, which of course Emma is the leader of, I assume like some other person could have made this logo on behalf of Emma. So I wonder who made the logo. I would like to know who created this round logo to go. This logo went into Paul Ansel's profile page, and also in the Bring Nikki Home group, which I'm not sure it still exists. It was made private, of course, after the whole big debacle, right? But, you know, the hashtag Bring Nikki Home, that has to have been Emma White, you know. You know, I'm sure she was the administrator and still is the admin of the group. Yeah. Let me test this, please. Hello. Yeah, it's fine. It's going fine. So yes, before I continue, you know, I wanted to say again, welcome everybody. Thank you for the subscriptions. I have 130 subs, which, you know, for someone who, and I just started reusing it with the NICOLA Bulley case. I restarted this channel, which, you know, I never used it much anyway, and it's been really nice. I never thought that people would respond to my podcast, because, you know, I never done it like with a live case, you know. I done some astrology podcasts, but it was like, you know, during the pandemic, and I you know, I couldn't go live, so it was just something that I did just to see how, you know, it came out. But I never like paid it much attention really until the Nikki Bulley case came along, and yeah, I thought I need to talk about this. And so I said, okay, I have this channel, which is my English speaking channel, Gritty Astro, which I have had that the Facebook channel for like 10 years now, but that's a memes. It's a page for memes, like astrology memes. So it's like you know, funny, I think. But, you know, I have had that page for a decade. So then I thought, okay, you know, I created the channel like in 2021, I think. And I uploaded a couple of astrology related podcasts because I wanted to see how it came out, how my voice, if I was able to speak in English, because, you know, I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm not, I don't speak English. It's not my it's not my first language. Okay. So I have this, I think I have like this difficulty, you know, because I process my sentences. Oh, what happened here? Dear God. No. I don't know what happened, but this is not good. Yep. Oh, yeah, it went like black, the screen. Yes, it's back on. So yeah, so I wanted to tell you a little bit of my history, my story. And I have been a tarot reader for again, like the better part of a decade now. And it's something that I love, that I have this gift that I got from my great grandma. Oh, sweetheart. And she was like a magic person. She was, well, she still is in my heart, like big part of her ancestors are Native American, like Native South American, from this region. And they were kind of like very magical people, like they have their shaman and all that. So my great grandmother, she has big native heritage, and so she was like the village witch doctor, just for lack of a better word. And she was very well known, and she really had the gift of healing. She had like magical gifts, like stopping storms and blessing the crops. It was all very like related to the earth and to the weather. She also healed people. She was this witch doctor, okay? She was like a witch doctor, and people came from like countrymen, like businessmen from the country, came to her to be cured or to ask for a blessing for their lands, for their crops. And she was so popular, my great grandma Irene, that she angered the local doctors, the local MDs, because of course, quote unquote rational men don't like witch doctors, especially if they are a woman. So I mean, she was really, really notorious and popular. She was very loved by everyone who came in contact with her. So I really hold her in a special place in my heart, even though I never knew her, because she died before I was born. So yeah. And then not my grandma or my aunts, they didn't get the gift. Not my mother or my aunts. I would say like my mother's cousins. I mean, none of them had the gift that my great grandma Irene had. And I don't think I have it. I mean, I have always felt this undercurrent in me, like this magical thing, this gift for perception, this special perception, okay? That's what I call it. I'm not near as good as she was, of course, because I don't have the temperament. I mean, I'm not her, of course. I'm an introvert, so yes. It's not possible being an introvert, to be around, walking around the village, going to people's houses and whatnot. But I definitely got some of her gifts. Yes, that special perception, like the psychic thing, like. So I've always been very perceptive about people. And also I could like foresee when things would happen. And because I was an introvert, that was kind of like a problem for me all my life, because if I said something to people, they will look at me like, what is she on about? Because I was never someone who talked a lot. I'm not, like I said, I'm an introvert. the only way I can do this live is, is just like in, oh God, again, not again, please, Jesus. Oh dear. I wish it didn't go block, Yeah, it's back again. So, sorry about that, I'm still a long way from knowing how to do this stuff. The only thing I know is, that my voice is heard. So that's what matters, right? Because this is a podcast. And, thank God that now it's quiet, because just like 20 minutes ago, like half an hour ago, it was really noisy here. And yeah, so this is a bit of background about myself. So that gift that came from my great-grandma Irene, it came to me in the form of this special perception, this special way of thinking, and this psychic side, which I naturally used it in tarot readings, because it just, one day I said, okay, oh, that's interesting, tarot. So I bought a and I remember when I was a child, my cousin, which is from the father's side, she has nothing to do with my great-grandmother Irene, but she used to read tarot, like, as a game when we were like teenagers. And she asked me one day, do you want to play? Do you want to a reading? And she, did a reading for me, and I found it fascinating. And she had a kind of gift, a tiny gift as well, but she lost it over the years. She didn't. It's not. I don't know if she lost it, but she doesn't use it. Okay. And so I remember when I was a teenager with her, with my cousin, and she would, read me the tarot, and I found it fascinating. And yeah, I was like, and I remember once she said, okay, let's play a psychic game, because she was like, wanted to be a psychic. She had this friend who was a real psychic. I remember she was like really creepy, because she had this like Carrie White, Carrie from the Stephen King book. She was like that. I mean, not so powerful, but she was like that. She had that special like creepy gift, and her mother was horrible, like Carrie's mother, and it was terrible. I remember meeting her, and she gave me this, not creeps, but she was, I could sense, because I had this gift too. I could sense she was very unhappy, and that her life was a burden, and her gift was a burden. I remember, and we were very young. I mean, my cousin, she's 2 years older than me. So we were all teenagers, when I came in contact with tarot and psychic stuff. And she would play one, because I was willing, and she said, oh, you have the gift, because, I would play the psychic games with her. And she was like, wow, how do you, it's like, it was the game, like, guess what I'm thinking. She would say, kind of like a mentalist thing. She would say, okay, what am I thinking about? Or we would say, like, and I would guess. So she would say, oh, holy shit, and it was like that. This was a long time ago, but anyway, like, then I didn't just pay any more attention. And then after like 10 years ago or more, I just said, this thing, came up in me again, this gift. I wanted to practice it. I wanted to get into it. So I started studying tarot and astrology with my teacher, who lives in the US, and she's like a master to me, not like a master, it's like a teacher, sorry, it's like a Spanish thing, maestra. Yeah, so, then I just created this channel like 2 years ago, I think, and then I didn't use it anymore because I wasn't really into it until this case came, okay? So, then I said, okay, let's do it. And I wanted to do it, more professionally, because people like were responding to my content, And yeah. So sorry about the noise. There's noise again, but anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for if you don't mind, I'm a bit of a waffler, but it's always, everything comes back eventually to the theme, the topic of the conversation, the podcast. Okay, I ramble, but I don't go like gaga, or I hope I'm not going gaga. But yeah, I wanted to thank everybody out there, in the UK, in the English-speaking community, like UK, Australia, USA, Canada. Yes, I had someone from Canada, and I want to say hello to every one of you who is listening, and I wanted to say a special hello to Unity, and to Martin and AL, which have been very supportive of me. You're great, and I never thought that anybody would engage with this. It was just like a thing to do, and I'm really glad that some people like it. So yes, please subscribe, like this. I talk about and I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about after the NICOLA Bulley case, but I like everything esoteric, like mysteries, anything. I really like a lot of things, like philosophy, life, death, the esoteric, symbolism, religion, keywords like lateral thinking, and all of that. Everything that has to do with another kind of thinking, like not following the official narrative of things, but following your own intuition, your own way of thought, and also practicing lateral thinking, which is it's thinking outside the box. Okay, so by doing it, you find other ways, other paths, and you get to other solutions. And along the way, you find information that you wouldn't have found if you were on the narrative, on the official narrative. Because the official narrative is what somebody tells you. It's like it's what the police tells you. It's what like the government tells you, is what school tells you, is what employers tell you, is what your parents tell you, is what society tells you. So it's not what your higher self or what God tells you, just to put it into simple words. And so I like all that is esoteric, that is everything that you can gather that is not seen, everything that one perceives that is not it doesn't follow the narrative, or it's just parallel, like lateral to the narrative, like that takes other paths in order to to come to another conclusions, to another solutions. So yes, and also I want to say, if you want to give me with tips, you can do so at coffee.com. You have that, the link, you have it in full in the description of this video. coffee.com/gritty. So yes, I'm kind of like, I have to like let myself feel this live streaming, because I'm not used to it, but I'm pretending that I am in a radio studio, with a microphone and everything, because I love radio. I prefer much I prefer the microphone to the camera. Always. I don't like cameras. I'm an introvert. I don't like cameras. I don't feel comfortable in cameras, in front of cameras. I don't like recording myself, videoing myself. I like the microphone. I like talking, I don't like people like seeing me, or me having to deal with my image and all of that. It's like too. I don't like it. I'm an introvert. There's nothing I can do about that. But this is like the podcast is perfect for me. At least for now. So having said all that, let's go back to the center of this podcast, which is Nikki Bulley, the NICOLA Bulley case, which is today is 26th of April, and in 2 months' time to the day is going to be the official Nikki Bulley inquest. So we don't know what we're going to get there. We really don't know. I was thinking the other day, and I thought, I wonder what they are going to say after the whole debacle, the whole PR nightmare of the police and of, Emma White and Paul Ansel. After all of those PR nightmares, I wonder, how are they going to manage this inquest? The PR side of it. Are they going to? They should. If they want to make this half right, they should definitely. They have to give more detail, be more open with the public this time, okay? Because you can't open the door like that to the public and then make a PR mess, insult the public, and then just shut the door like they did, and be so arrogant and be so defensive. That's really bad business when you're dealing with the public, because we are the public and we don't like the police and the government, treating us like idiots. After all, they are there thanks to us. Police, they are there thanks to us because we pay their salaries with our taxes. So yeah, it's like you can't really shut public out, especially when you welcome them like in the beginning, and then you can put people to jail, for filming. That's ridiculous. It doesn't matter that the video was in bad taste or that you don't like the guy. The police were horrible. I always go back to the police. It's like, wow. And I thought my police were bad because, Latin America is like, oh, God. But no, I go to, I only have to go to, this case in UK, and I say the police are a mess. They are being worse, I think, historically bad in this case, regarding this case. So they shut the public out, and they arrested people, and they pretty much tried to squash the freedom of speech and the freedom of movement. Yes. And they behaved themselves as if they were like a dictatorship country, like a third world country, like knocking your door at 2 a.m, and just shouting and just making a whole big ruckus in public in the middle of the night, scaring old people like elders. That's like a mafia thing, the police were acting like the mafia in many aspects, in my opinion, and the PR was a disaster. I can't believe that police in a country like England, are so unprofessional. And I've seen like this in many instances, with the like I said, mentioned in another video, there's this channel which is called Audit Police, or Auditing Britain, or the Auditing Yorkshire. It's like this guy who goes into the different nicks and stands there, and police and people who works for the police start being very rude to him or them without cause. and therefore, demonstrating that they actually believe, the police believe that they are superior to the public, when they are not actually, they are not. You can't treat public like that. I mean, it's not the Middle Ages, not yet anyway. The Middle Ages was like centuries ago, and even though we are headed, again, I think, towards a Middle Age, come on. It's not yet, it's like, please don't treat us this way. I mean, it's a shame. I can't believe they are not ashamed of themselves, and they should, like, just get out and say sorry to the public for this fiasco. So yes, but apart from that, it's like the mafia police, and then you have the creepy characters, like main characters of this movie, Paul Ansel and Emma White, who were like another PR nightmare. But in another podcast, I have talked about all the keywords that I have found in this narrative. Okay, in the narrative pertaining Paul Ansel and him, and then Emma White, because they have said similar things, and they speak, kind of like if there were twin brothers, twin siblings. But Paul and Emma are like the main actors of this play. And then you have poor Nikki, who is the victim, actually. She is no longer with us. But she was relegated. She was like in the background, while these two clowns were in the foreground. And it was really distasteful, because why would you make why would you do two interviews? I mean, the first one I can understand, the first Paul interview, okay, you're in the river, and you have to say something to the media, although you don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but I get it. And even that interview was like, it wasn't an appeal, because he didn't appeal to Nikki or the people who could have Nikki. He didn't. He just talked about himself, how horrible it is for him, and for we, who knows who is we. So yeah, it's and then the second interview, like the big, like I call it the Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, because it was this feature video, the feature interview, with Dan Walker, from the Channel 5, is it? He also worked for the BBC in sports, I think. But this is he's a big deal. And he's, after this, now he has more money and more work, So that's another kind of worms there. But yeah, this like a Stanley Kubrick moment for Paul, which is this feature length. And when I say feature length, I say, it wasn't very long, but it was like a movie, because it was so out of character, so out of place, to have that kind of interview, with this Dan Walker, who is a professional, and, and he was like sitting in those sofas of at Emma White's, They made the interview at Emma White's house. Yeah, I think it was like the living room from one of the events thing. But I don't know. I think it was her living room. Anyway, she lives there. It's Marsh Farm Hall. Yeah, in Garstang, and it was like his, it's like always the same background. It's like this ISIS thing, when they always like had the same backgrounds and the same colors and the same music and the same things happening. It was, I don't want to compare them with that, but like visually for me it was very Stanley Kubrick, very like ISIS. The ISIS videos, Stanley Kubrick would have, thought about that, if he had been alive. Not that he would have been associated with terrorists, but, it's like a concept to wash your brain. It's like brainwashing concept, as I see it, as my perception perceives it. Like this, when you have this the same background for everything, because you had the NICOLA Bulley family interview was in that, with the same background, in the same place at Emma White's, and then you had Paul at that place, and then you have Emma, you know, but I don't know if you could see the brickwork with the Emma thing. But yeah, you know, it was so weird because it was like a film, okay, like something like artistic, like something like a PR. Yeah, it was very Stanley Kubrick in a way for me. It's like brainwashing, because you always see the same bricks, and you always see, you know, the same horrible like brown sofas, and you have the same, that Paul face, you know, he's always like drowning, he's like always like falling asleep, and he speaks in this monotone. So, and the way he speaks, of course, you know, the words he said, the keywords that I have, you know, talked about, everything just makes it like a big brainwashing machine, or a brainwashing event. So, you know, I don't think the guys who think that this is a psyop, I mean, I don't think they are crazy. I'm not sure this is a psyop. I don't think it is, but who knows? I mean, if someone were to tell me, look, we have proof this was a psyop, I wouldn't be surprised, really. Because the way the government and everything is declining, the police, you know, the general culture, the way everything is going down and declining, yeah, I'm not surprised that, I wouldn't be surprised that the government or some agencies would want to manipulate the people even more with this kind of like Stanley Kubrick type things, you know. By the way, I love Stanley Kubrick. I don't love him. I like very much his movies. He's a master of the symbolism. Yeah, just go watch Stanley Kubrick. He's very psychological. Also, he used to, if I'm not mistaken, he in his youth he worked in advertisement, creative advertisement. I think he had his own ad agency, I think. And I'm not surprised, because he knows how to brainwash you. He knows how to use symbolism. He's like a master of his craft, you know. So this Paul interview is like a Stanley Kubrick thing for me. I mean, not the same quality, of course, but it just reminds me of that, you know, symbology. Like, you know, it's like this brickwork behind, you know. And then between Paul and Dan Walker, you have this like fireplace with a heart, which is again really strange, you know, like this heart made of like twigs, like, you know, which is, you know, a strange thing to put a heart-shaped thing in the middle of a fireplace. And, you know, and a mirror. Yes, there's a mirror as well. So it's so strange. It's very Kubrick, wouldn't you say? It's like, oh God. And there you have the symbol. You have in the fireplace, if you watch the infamous Paul Ansel interview by Dan Walker, if you watch it again, you can see, you know, the heart-shaped thingy. It's an adornment. I don't know how you call it. It's like a decorating heart, but it's put in the fireplace, propped against a mirror, in the fireplace, on the fireplace, and no, on, I don't know, but the heart, you know, the logo, Nikki's logo, is a heart. It's a yellow heart, or a yellow neon heart, or like a full yellow thing, heart. And so you see like a theme, you see like a movie production theme. Okay, let's make a logo. Let's create the props for the interview. Let's put a heart, because Nikki's logo is a heart, so it's going to like be lodged in your subconscious when you see it, and it will like brainwash you further. It's like it's some subliminal influence, it's like, the same effect of, a record being like played reversed, like the Beatles ones, and you hear like satanic stuff. It's like that. It's like brainwashing, it's manipulating on the subconscious level, like an advertisement, like an ad. So like publicity. So I mean, who is doing this? Who is it? I mean, who is the who is the movie buff? Who is the director of this whole NICOLA Bulley operation? Whoever it is, I think they love Stanley Kubrick. So, I mean, I would like to know who was the one who said, okay, let's make this like a big movie, like this big production, like with, the logo and the color and the hashtag and the, the props and the keywords and all the strange correlations. Who was the one who created that? Was it Emma? I don't know, because I mean, although she's like the PR girl, she's like the face of the case in a way. She's more like the PR manager. Who is the brain behind this whole thing? It's like somebody else who is like into graphic design or media production. Who is it? Is it Paul? I don't think so. I mean, I know that he's an engineer, supposedly, and that he loves music, like Guns N' Roses. Yeah, because he used to sing in a band, and from what I've seen, they made Guns N' Roses covers. Ooh, so yeah. But I mean, do you see him as a media producer? Sorry, like a media producer? I don't. I really don't see Paul nor Emma as being like the brains of this operation. So who made all this NICOLA Bulley movie? And I'm not speaking against Nikki. I'm speaking about the true ghouls who made all this like movie like feature length thing, Stanley Kubrick like brainwashing piece of media. I would love to know who it was. Is that like a team behind this case? Like I don't know. Now I'm speaking like as if it was like a psyop or something like a psyop. There is a group, a team who were in charge of creating everything. Like all the brushing, the brainwashing apparatus. The logos, the hashtags, the colors, the photos, the interviews, the settings, the props, the words, the references. Of course, all beneath a shade of shade, beneath everything, beneath like a coat of shadiness, of ambiguity that this case has had from the beginning, And so, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? And so, I have found many keywords in this case, in the general and in the official narrative. One of those official narrators is Paul. Paul in his Stanley Kubrick interview. Okay, all the things he said, like the one that stands out for me the most is the Truman Show. I feel like I am the Truman Show. Oh boy, and I have gathered like I mean, I've seen the film again, for God's sakes, you know. I haven't seen it like for ages. And what a masterpiece it is, you know, the concept of it. It's incredible. And the fact that Paul changed his name to this character, Sam Beckett, who is like a quantum leap character who travels in time and then disappears forever. So, you know, it's so strange, you know, everything is so like brainwashing, you know, it's like it's aimed to brainwash you. That is why you have to be careful with these things, you know, these cases. You always have to, especially the people who pick up on these things, you know, not the ones who follow like the general, like the official narrative, but, you know, the people who see other things, you know, who pick up like the cues and the clues and the you know, all the symbolisms and, you know, the red flags, which this case is full of. So yeah, I mean, there is something wrong with this, okay? There's something up and we don't know what it is, but we have, like I said in other podcasts, it's like a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, Emma said about that, you know, like it's like, is this puzzle or this jigsaw and this little piece, you know, was it that little piece of the jigsaw or something like that? It is like a jigsaw puzzle, and you have many pieces, and just slowly, you know, some of the picture is put together, but not all of it. So it's like you don't know. We know we you know, ultimately we still don't know what happened. Oh, but because of all the pieces that we managed to put together so far, we can see that this is like, oh boy, this is strange. It's very strange. Doesn't make sense because we still don't have like the face in the middle, you know. We don't have the why, the how, the what, the how, the why, the who. We don't have that, and who knows if we're going to have that even after the inquest. Yes, but you know, I wanted to talk to you about, you know, this podcast is called Yellow because it's Nikki is the official NICOLA Bulley case color. Okay, it's yellow. And you know, days ago I just was, you know, enjoying a Sunday morning, and it was beautiful, and I was in my garden and I saw that the dandelions were in bloom, and they are beautiful. They were like this big round yellow dandelions, like glorious. And I thought, yellow, they are yellow like Nikki, you know, like Nikki's case. And then I thought, you know, yellow. Oh, yellow. And I thought, and they were all yellow, and it was all yellow. Like, you know, like all the garden was yellow because of the dandelions in bloom. And I thought of the, you know, Coldplay, the song, Yellow. Oh, I said, okay. I wonder if, I mean, that's a big hit song. It's a huge song, isn't it? And it's one of the songs of the millennium. One of the songs who marked the millennium in 2000. So it was like a song to remember. The song of the change of an era, you know, the song of the new millennium. I mean, there were many songs of the new millennium, but Yellow is one of them, definitely. And I thought, and it was all yellow. Yeah. So I looked it up and I said, because this could be a Nikki song, because yellow is Nikki's color. So I saw that, so it was release date 26th of June 2000. And I said, oh dear, I mean, this is the date of the inquest, 26th of June. So my curiosity was piqued, okay? And it was in 2000, 23 years ago to the day of the next inquest. Okay, next inquest going to mark, interestingly, the 23rd anniversary of Coldplay's release date, you know, the song Yellow, which was released on the 26th of June. 23 years, which is again the 23. And NICOLA turned 23 on that year. The year 2000 was the year that NICOLA Bulley turned 23 years old. So I was like, okay, I'm alert, you know, I see this, okay. So this Coldplay Yellow is definitely in my mind, from the way I think, it's, you know, it's part now of the NICOLA Bulley case, you know, in the esoteric sense, okay, not in the exoteric, not in the official sense, not in the 3D sense, in the esoteric. It's a symbol, okay. And so I was really, really curious. So yes, okay, so Coldplay's Yellow, it's one of the other of Nicky's songs, because the first song for her is Richard Marx's Hazard. Okay, I'm looking for Yellow lyrics. Yeah, I mean, and I found out that the lyrics in both songs, like in Hazard, which by the way was released on the 28th of January, one day after she disappeared, but of course in 1992. But you know, it's regardless, you know, it was very next to the Nicky's date, so it is relevant. And because that song is officially in the narrative, in the official narrative, because her sister Louise Cunningham, she had, like, 10 years ago in 2013, January 2013, Louise posted that song Hazard by Richard Marx and tagged Nicky. She said something like, you know, do you remember the song? And Nicky just put a like, you know, reaction. And that was on 2013. Yes? Do you follow me? 10 years prior, almost to the date of NICOLA Bulley disappearing, vanishing into thin air. So Richard Marx's Hazard speaks about a guy who gets away with murdering his girlfriend. Okay? By the way, it's a great song. It's a great ballad. I mean, Richard Marx has a great voice, like very dramatic and, you know, kind of like a beautiful voice. And it's not my kind of music really, but, you know, that ballad is a great song, I think. Like, the sound, from the sound point of view, you know, it's beautiful. The composition, everything. So, the song of Richard Marx's Hazard, you know, was released on the 28th of January, and Louise, Nicky's sister, shared that song to her Facebook wall, on January 2013, 10 years, exactly 10 years, almost to the day. Not almost, I mean, it was like, I think, like 9th of January or something like that. 10 years before Nicky went poof. And that song is the first song of Nicki, okay? And that song's, you know, it's incredible, all the coincidences in the lyrics. He talks about, you know, this guy, which is him, by the way, in the video, is himself. He's played by himself, by Richard Marx. It's like he's talking about himself, you know, like he's acting, he's playing, you know, this character in the music video, and he's, you know, speaking, he's singing in the first person, like me, I, okay? And he tells about how he got away with murder, and he doesn't say I did it. I mean, actually it's the opposite. He swears he left her by the river safe and sound, by the river safe and sound. But then as the video progresses, as the music video progresses, at least me, myself, you know, I think he's the one who murdered her, Mary, right? He got away with murder, and he's the one who narrating the story. It's like Paul, you know. I'm not saying Paul did anything, but it's a little bit. It's again like this kind of like artistic, purposefully made up